Hi, Kate here from the Safeguarding Academy, and welcome to this week's 5-minute masterclass. This week I want to talk to you about the role of the independent reviewing officer. The independent reviewing officer has a very important role in child protection proceedings before the matter gets to court, and then once a case has been to court and is concluded. Independent reviewing officers, IROs, or occasionally they're known as independent child reviewing officers, or ICROs, you'll see social services like their acronyms, have the role of the children's guardian within local authority internal proceedings. So that is to say, they are the independent person who has to look after the child's welfare throughout processes such as child in need, through child protection conferences, child protection plans, through the public law outline process, and then when a child is looked after, they have a role in terms of making sure that a child's welfare is being met. So what do they actually do? Their role is not quite a hidden role, and some independent reviewing officers are more active than others. I think that's a fair comment to make. Their role is to make sure that children's services, so social workers, managers, children's services departments, are doing what they need to do in the best interests of a child's welfare. If we take the example of a child protection conference, the independent reviewing officer is usually the chair of that conference. It's their role to make sure that all the information that is needed to decide whether or not a child protection plan is necessary is gathered at that meeting, and that information is shared amongst the professionals who are at that meeting. They are the ones who chair that meeting. They are the ones who will speak to parents before that meeting is to take place and explain what that whole process is about, so that they have had an independent person explain the process to them, and it isn't just relying on what the social worker has said. Independent reviewing officers often contact the outside agencies, so independent family support workers, if you have charities working with a family, maybe schools, maybe safeguarding leads, they can be contacted by the independent reviewing officer throughout these proceedings to find out what's happening. In some cases, an independent reviewing officer will request there's a professionals meeting. So where they feel that work needs to be done in order to safeguard the child, and looking at what each individual agency can do, they will invite all of those agencies in to discuss this in a meeting. Now that would be outside of a child protection conference, so parents wouldn't necessarily be present. And it's really to find out what is happening. So they have the role of making sure that all of the agencies involved in the child's life are actually working together and are sharing information and are doing what is needed in order to protect the child's welfare. Some independent reviewing officers are more heavily involved than others, depending on the nature of the case. They should be asked at the outset, when a local authority is looking at issuing care proceedings, whether or not they agree with the plan that the local authority is putting to the court. So there is part of the application form that a local authority has to complete, which says what are the views of the independent reviewing officer, and they will be asked for their views throughout the proceedings. It isn't unknown for an independent reviewing officer to disagree with what a social worker is saying. They have the power to ask and to make social workers think very carefully about the plans they're putting in place, and to challenge and hold account social workers and their practice, and to some extent outside agencies, to make sure that everything that's being done is being done in the best interests of the child, and that everything that can be done is being done. in the best interests of the child. So, in a nutshell, the independent reviewing officer is the voice of the child within local authority proceedings such as child in need processes and within child protection processes. And they are the body and the independent person that will hold children's services to account if things aren't being done the way that they should be being done, and they feel that more work or other work needs to be done in order to safeguard a child's needs. Until next week, have a lovely week. If you have any questions about this masterclass, then please feel free to email me at info@thesafeguardingacademy.com. Thank you very much. Bye.